You can do all the right things, say the right words, meet the deadline, show up on time, and still be training a pattern that sabotages your integrity. Today we're going to talk about something deceptively simple: follow through, doing what you said you'd do. Most people treat follow through as behavior, but the transformation happens when you start seeing it as training. What matters isn't just whether you complete the task, it's the state you're in while doing it. Because the real respect, both internal and external, comes from the emotional pattern you reinforce every time you follow through. Let's look at what that means. We've all been taught that if you want to earn respect, just do what you'll say you'll do. And yes, follow through is essential. But the problem is most people stop there. They measure success by the action. But two people can take the same action from completely different emotional patterns. One delivers from calm. One delivers from collapse. On the outside, they look identical. But internally, they're training very different nervous systems, very different identities. So if you've been following through, but still feel like people don't trust you or you don't trust yourself, that's the disconnect we're here to close. Let's take a common example. Someone says, "I'll send it by tomorrow." They do. They meet the deadline. But the state they train while doing it is tension, pressure, fear of disappointing someone. Maybe they second guess every word. Maybe they rush through the last part hoping it's good enough. They technically followed through, but the emotion they're reinforcing is anxiety. The identity they're rehearsing is, "I can't relax until it's perfect." This is where burnout starts. This is how resentment builds, because even your wins don't feel like momentum. You're doing the work, but training depletion. And that nervous system can't sustain long-term trust or confidence because it's built on fear. Now, let's contrast that. Same person, same commitment, "I'll send it by tomorrow." But the state they train is grounded. They move through the process with clarity. They redirect tension as it comes up, not by forcing calm, but by choosing presence. They're not rushing to prove. They're not bracing against failure. They're simply doing what they said they do from a steady internal platform. This kind of follow-through builds more than trust. It builds identity. The person becomes someone who trusts themselves. That's the kind of respect that's felt, even if nothing is said out loud, because people don't just respond to what you do, they respond to the state you carry while doing it. Let's talk about relationships for a moment, not romantic versus professional, but the dynamic between people. Here's a scenario I see a lot. Someone says they'll call or help out or be there at a certain time, and they follow through on paper, but the energy underneath is distracted, avoidant, or slightly resentful. They show up, but they're agitated, or they're late, or they seem like they'd rather be somewhere else. And the other person feels it. They might not say anything. They might even say, "Thank you," or "I appreciate it." But underneath, the nervous system doesn't register respect. It registers tension. That's because the external behavior doesn't match the internal state. Now, here's the shift. Same promise, same follow through, but it's done with presence, with stability, with real intention. Now the relationship begins to feel safe, steady, solid. Because respect isn't built through gestures, it's built through consistency of state. If you find yourself often saying, "I'm trying my best, I'm doing everything right, but I still feel behind, anxious, or unseen," that's a red flag, not of your effort, but of your emotional pattern. You might be training futility. You might be reinforcing collapse, because doing the right thing from the wrong state over and over doesn't build resilience. It drains it. One client said to me, "I always meet the deadline, but I'm exhausted. I don't know how long I can keep this up." What we found was his pattern was to power through uncertainty with adrenaline. He was getting things done, but underneath, his nervous system was practicing panic. So we trained a new state. Not slower, not chill, just aligned. He still delivered, but now he was rehearsing certainty. And everything began to shift. His energy, his confidence, even how people responded to him. Because what changed wasn't just the action, it was the state behind it. If this is landing, hit subscribe. Each week I post tools like this to help you train emotional stability, clarity, and alignment with structure. Here's the bottom line. People don't respect you because you do a bunch of stuff. They respect you because of who you train yourself to be while doing it. When your inner state matches your outer promise consistently, people start to feel, "I can count on them." They don't overreact. They're the same person under pressure as they are at rest. And eventually your nervous system starts to believe that too. You stop chasing respect. You start becoming someone who embodies it. And that's where momentum really begins. If you're hearing this and thinking, "This sounds like me," you're not broken. You've just been training a pattern that's familiar, but no longer aligned with the person you're committed to becoming. And that can change. Let's simplify this down to one question you can ask yourself today. What emotional state am I training when I follow through? Don't answer with logic. Feel for it. Is it urgency? Is it people-pleasing? Is it steadiness? Is it commitment? Then ask, is that state aligned with the version of me I'm choosing to become? Because the nervous system doesn't lie, and your body remembers what it practices long after the checklist is done. One quick clarification before we wrap up. This isn't about lowering your standards. This isn't about becoming passive or backing away from responsibility. This is about training internal consistency. So you can show up, follow through, lead, contribute, deliver, but without burning out your nervous system in the process. It's not about doing less. It's about doing it from a different place. Because when your actions and your emotional state match, that's when people feel your integrity. And that's when you start respecting yourself, not because you did the thing, but because you've trained the capacity to do it well over and over from the inside out. If you're ready to stop managing symptoms and start training a steady, resilient inner state, I've built a system for that. It integrates perception, emotion, and nervous system, so you don't just understand your patterns, you actually shift them. The link's below. I also share weekly practices on Instagram at Mike Wang Coaching. And if you want more depth, hop on the newsletter below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.